Welcome to Ear to the Ground. Gordie Johnson is a musical whirlwind. The Winnipeg-born guitarist has become a fixture in Toronto with his ever-evolving band Big Sugar. In the clubs of Toronto, whether they're playing on their own or backing some of the best names in the country, Big Sugar has played everything from rock to blues to jazz with equal wit and dexterity. Their latest album, 500 Pounds, proved to be a strong new direction for the band. It brought forward Gordie's love for a driving blues rock with a really tough guitar edge. This was an album that really kicked, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Well, while the band was recording that, we were lucky enough to catch up to them in a special club performance where a few friends dropped by for some slightly more laid-back fun. Here's Gordie Johnson and Big Sugar on Ear to the Ground.
I mean, even to myself, I'm still quite amazed that I play music for a living, and it's luckily really the only job I've ever had. The only Big Sugar. If you come out and see us on Tuesday night, we're going to sound like Big Sugar on Tuesday night. If you come out and see us on Wednesday, we might not play any of the same songs. If we do, we won't play them the same way. Our approach to the music, it's not us trying to sound like old records. I just think that there's less in the way of you just making an honest representation of your music. I mean, if you come out to hear Big Sugar, you hear three guys making sounds on their instruments. It has nothing to do with, oh, I don't have an effects rack, and there's no computer programs, and there's no special effect pedals. Like, there are no batteries on our stage.
Victor Bateman.
often sit at home and play for myself. You know, I like the communication aspect of music. It's, I mean, some people like to do it in solitude. They like to shut out the world with their music. But I want to open up all the windows and open all the doors and get out there with music. If I'm sitting at home by myself, I don't pick up the guitar. If my roommates are home, I'll pick it up. If somebody wants to hear a song, well, I'll pick it up. And when you're in front of an audience, it just feels like, well, now's the time to play. And we've played to audiences as small as 3 or 4 people. I mean, some nights it's just how it goes. You'll play to a table of 5. And if I can keep them there all night and loving it, that's fine too.
She's alone, gone, and now I'm alone, some blue. I had me a woman, she wouldn't be true. She paid me for my money, and then she made me blue. A man needs a woman that he can lean on. My leaning posts are just left and gone. And she's alone, gone, and now I'm alone, some blue.
I came to Toronto and I didn't know what to expect. It's pretty intimidating, city. I'm still had a, sort of a prairie demeanor and come to this, big city. I was born in Winnipeg, and then we lived in Saskatchewan, and we lived in Alberta, and we lived in Ontario, and then I've been back and forth across the west to the east a couple of times. My fondest memories from childhood probably are through the windows of a car. I mean, I suppose vintage cars and things like that are, that's part of North American culture, but more specifically American culture, just like rhythm and blues and jazz and electric guitars and this whole thing. I mean, it's an old story, the cars from the 40s and 50s and, the electrification of that music. I mean, that all has such an appeal to it. It's very romantic, those images. And, as a kid, I didn't start out listening to Duke Ellington or something like that. I didn't grow up with that. I sort of come into that slowly. But all the trappings that go with it, the clothing, the cars of that era, just the mannerisms and all that. I love just pour through old movies. I love Jimmy Stewart, his manner. Even no matter what character he's playing, he has a certain manner about him. It doesn't matter if he's ever played a good guy or a bad guy, he would open the door for a woman.
When whippoorwills call and evening is nigh, well, I heard of my blue heaven. Turn to the right, and the little white lights will lead you to my blue heaven. You'll see a smiling face place, a cozy room. Just a little nest that nestles where the roses bloom. Just my honey and me, and baby makes three. So happy in my blue heaven.
We take a lot of risks on stage, and I put the band through its paces all the time. There's some security in having your worked out arrangement played the same, and some musicians are great for that. You go to see them and they're very reliable. Every night it's going to be just exactly like the record. It's going to be just exactly like you expected. Sometimes that's a plus, but for us and the music that I've loved, it comes from that, the spontaneity, the element of chance. You never know what's going to happen. And you never know who's going to get up with us and play with us. I mean, that throws a monkey wrench into the thing for sure. Musicians in this city that know if they come in to see Big Sugar, they are always welcome on the stage. I don't care where we're playing, for what event. There are some musicians that they are just like, they're approved. You know, you would feel comfortable coming up on the stage. And there are a lot of bands like that in this city where like there is this community. Everybody, they could have radically different directions. Like my buddies, the Bourbon Tabernacle Choir, I mean, our musics are pretty different. We're in separate corners. But, I mean, you know, I've recorded songs that they've written, or vice versa, or I've gone, you know, I've played on their record. I go up, whenever I got a night off, I go see them, I get up and play. They let me play whatever instrument I want, in fact. I mean, it's comfortable. It feels like home.
Town since you put me down. My money's all gone. My money's all gone. My money's all gone. I'm pleading with you, baby, about the break of dawn.
luckily, we live in a region and we play in this city where there are so many different venues to play in, so many different styles. And since I've come to Toronto, I've gravitated towards certain rooms to play in. Definitely the Rivoli has a very intimate feel. You can play for a lot of people, yet it feels like a lounge. It feels like somebody's living room, or at the Cameron down on Queen Street. And that place, there was just, you know, the air was just electric with creativity in there. I mean, it was just an old dive that some people had taken, and they let a pack of artists just run wild with the thing. I mean, there are huge murals on the wall. The ceilings are painted. There are angels flying above your head. And it's just a bar, after all.
Up in the clouds, up in the clouds. I don't want no sugar in my coffee. It makes me mean. It makes me mean. I don't want no sugar in my coffee. It makes me mean. Makes me mean.
Play what I want to play, and what I want to play happens to be what people want to listen to. As long as that's there, that'll be success. You know, I might be eating in restaurants tonight and, you know, warming up beans on the stove next week, but I'm still going to be able to go out and play, and that's where my stability will be. I'll feel confident knowing that I can still do that, because that's all I've got. They can't take that away from me. It goes with the music. It seems appropriate to me now. It seems obvious that the things from this era, the attention that was paid, the integrity that goes along with those things, those movies, works of art, whatever you had, it stood the passage of time. And as history unfolds in front of me, I'm starting to see, you know, what lasts. You know, what's going to have some staying power, and hopefully I'm setting myself up to to last. You know, I want to do this when I'm 65. I want to do this when I'm 75. I've seen just chilling performances by musicians that, you know, they shouldn't even be walking the earth, and they're still doing what they've always done. That's, you know, I never have to retire. I never need a vacation. This is what I would do on my day off, you know.